Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. This is your Premier League prediction video, the video where every single year we come at this point of the month in August waiting for the league to begin and we all get our predictions wrong. That's basically it. The only thing we can actually try and do is minimize how wrong we're going to be. It's a very, very rare thing for any one of us on this platform, any football YouTuber, to get it spot on. I haven't seen it. If it has happened, please let me know who. I'd love to meet them. But yeah, we're gonna see. I've tried to think about this realistically, objectively. I've taken my blue tinted Todd Bowley glasses and put them to the side. Yeah. We'll leave that to the shelf for now. But I've tried to really think realistically and to prioritize things in how I honestly believe it's going to go down. So without further ado, we'll start from the bottom. We'll work our way up. I'm going to do this in phases. I'm not going to do this like I did in previous videos last year and the year before where I do it team by team. I'm going to go in phases. So the bottom three, the bottom half of the table, who's making the top half of the table, and then we start getting into the top guys. So to finish bottom, right? We know the newly promoted sides that are coming into the Premier League are Bournemouth, Fulham, and Nottingham Forest. It's more than likely that two of them are going back down, right? On average, it tends to be the one team that goes back, that stays up. If not, none of them stay up. But if anyone stays up, it's one. It's very rarely two. It's never three. So I am going with Bournemouth to finish bottom, with all due respect, and I'm going with Fulham to finish in 19th. These two, when I look at all the teams in the Premier League, despite the recruitment that I think is fairly decent for both Bournemouth and for Fulham specifically, I still see them going down. Fulham especially are that team that come back into the Premier League, then they get relegated. And then they come back and then they get relegated. Bournemouth have a good history in terms of coming into the Premier League, staying there. But since they got rid of Eddie Howe, since it all went wrong, they went back down and they've managed to bring themselves back up. But I still see, compared to the other teams in this league, that they are going to fall. So I'm going Bournemouth to finish bottom, Fulham to just finish ahead because of their recruitment this summer. Not bottom, but 19th. And in 18th, this is probably going to shock you. I'm going Everton. Yes, I think they're going to end up in the same scenario that they were in last season. They really haven't recruited well. I thought that they would really try and revamp this team. They've lost Richarlison, but in terms of actually getting players in that I think is necessary to completely get Everton playing football properly again, they haven't done it. Their investment hasn't been good, and I think that they're going to end up in the same scenarios. You look at all the other teams near, and they've strengthened. A lot of other teams along in the Premier League, even in the bottom half of the table, have decided to splash. I mean, you're looking at Nottingham Forest. Look at how much they've managed to get in. That's Nottingham Forest, and albeit, yes, they did play the most expensive match in football by winning the playoff, and you get a lot of money for that, so fair play for them for doing that. But still, Everton and their stature, you'd expect that they'd invest properly. They haven't. I think they've only got, I think it's 2 or 3 players in, but not of really high caliber. And I think they're going to end up in the same scenario. Frank Lampard has a job to do. I don't think this helps him. And yeah, I honestly see them now going down. It's crazy to say, but I reckon 18th, a relegation battle, and this time they don't win it. So yeah, I mean, I would love Everton to stay up, albeit because of Lamps. I don't want Lamps to get relegated. I don't want him to have that reputation. But I don't think he's been helped, and I don't think he'll help himself because he's in a stage of his managerial career where I think he needs a good block. He needs a good team around him for him to be able to develop with. I don't think Everton's going to do that for him. I don't think he has the tools to be able to keep Everton up. So yeah, we'll see. In 17th and 16th, I'm going Leeds and I'm going Leicester. Leeds to survive just again. They just about survived relegation last season. I think it's going to be the same sort of situation. And in 15th, I'm going Leicester. Leicester for similar reasons to Everton, except Leicester are worse. Leicester last season, if I'm not mistaken, I think they finished 8th. They've not bought anyone. Not one player. They've lost Schmeichel. There's talk about Tielemans. There's talk about Maddison. They are about to lose Fofana. At this rate, I think they're going to be losing Fofana. I think they've lost someone else. They're just losing. And they're not bringing, they're not replacing. that's a setup for disaster. They were pretty poor last season anyway, on average, especially towards the end of the season. They didn't look good. They've not bought anybody to try and replace the players that are going out. What do you expect? I honestly think that they're going to be eclipsed, and I see them diving into 15th, 16th, 17th, and then eventually staying 16th. So I'm going with Leicester in 16th. In 15th, new boys, Nottingham Forest. I don't see them finishing any higher, but I think 15th for a newly promoted side, for a team that has not been in the Premier League since the 90s. I remember seeing Nottingham Forest when I was a kid. When I started to discover what football was, the Premier League, what's this? Nottingham Forest, okay, they're one of the Premier League teams. And then you start to hear about their history, the European Cups, Brian Clough, all of that, and you're like, whoa, they've got a big history. Where are Nottingham Forest? They went down, they were never to be seen again. And they're back. And you look at the money that they've spent this window. The way that they played in the Championship last season was impressive enough. To build on top of that and to get someone in like Jesse Lingard, for example, I mean, you don't expect them to dive straight back into a relegation fight. You don't. I think they will end up being, that sort of part of the table, but it's a great result for Nottingham Forest in their first season back. And then from there, they can build on it. In the same way that Brentford came up and they've really made their mark, you don't expect them to see them in a relegation battle. I think Nottingham Forest will be the same bread and butter. So Nottingham Forest in 15th. Welcome back, Forest. It's been good. It's good to see you. I'm really happy. The kid in me is happy to see Forest back in this Premier League, because the kid in me is familiar with Nottingham Forest, and my adolescence life never didn't hear of them, and they're back, so I'm very happy. In 14th, I'm going Brentford. And the same goes for, I've put Southampton in 13th, Brighton in 12th, Wolves in 11th. Those teams are all going to finish round about there, innit? You just have to pick a random order at this point. It's hard to even analyse. With Brentford, you expect them to just finish around that level. You don't expect them to finish any higher, any lower. Same goes for Southampton. Southampton are just that team. There's no heavy investment. There's no real drastic improvement. But I don't see them dipping. So I think they're going to finish around there. Brighton have managed to get rid. You look at Cucurella, for example, who's just made his way to Chelsea. But they've got themselves Levi Colwill in. They've replaced well. I think Graham Potter does a great job. But the concurrence of the teams that I think are going to finish above are going to prevent Brighton from getting any higher. But I think that is where they're going to go. And I think that's a decent result for Brighton, and the tools that they have, it's a decent result. Graham Potter I respect very highly, and I think he's a top manager. So don't be surprised if Brighton do pip into the 11 or even to the top 10. But I do put them 12th. Wolves, 11th. I think overall they're quite solid. Not enough to break into the top half of the table, but they're quite solid. So I'll go with Wolves in 11th. Crystal Palace in 10th. I think Patrick Vieira is doing something right at Palace. And I liked the way that they were playing towards the latter stage of the season last season. It went off a bit on a bumpy ride at the beginning, but Patrick Vieira managed to really steer the ship, managed to get players playing in a way that he wanted. He started to test the top teams and really, really test them. And I feel like there's been a good enough summer at Palace for them to really kick on. They've invested decent, I would say. They've spent a good amount of money. And I think Crystal Palace overall won't break again, just like Brighton, won't break into the places that I think the teams above are going to occupy for good reasons. But 10th is a good result for Crystal Palace. So I'll go mid-table, 10th on the dot. Aston Villa in 9th. The best of the rest, basically. Because I've got West Ham in 8th, and I don't see West Ham finishing below Aston Villa. I just don't. There's one team that I know you're waiting for me to mention, and I haven't mentioned them yet, and I think they are going to break into new levels of the Premier League now because of the resources that they have. You know who I'm talking about. So therefore, all those top teams and them, you put Aston Villa next. Steven Gerrard has a good thing going on. Steven Gerrard with the players that he has, especially the talent in a Coutinho, for example. That block that he has is a great foundation for him to really kick on. He's had a good season at Aston Villa last year. I think there's ready for development. I think there's time for that. I think Steven Gerrard is turning into a quite decent manager. And I feel like 9th is going to be a respectable position for Aston Villa to finish in. So I'm going Aston Villa in 9th. West Ham in 8th. I would like to put West Ham higher because I think they have the team. But I have to put Newcastle in 7th. And I think that's the reason why West Ham won't finish in 7th. Because Newcastle will come along with the cash. But one thing I want to say about Newcastle. I respect the way that Newcastle are building. They're not rushing. They're taking their time. They're taking their time with all the resource that they have. Technically, they are now the richest club in world football. But they're not acting like one just yet. They are doing it smart. They're not doing it to show off. They're doing it smart and strategically. And I like that. They're not going... They could if they really wanted to. Yeah, if they really wanted to. They could honestly go... Their owners could turn around one morning, wake up and go, I want Mbappe. Get me Mbappe. How much? 300 million? Yeah, no worries. Spare change. They could if they really wanted to. But they're not doing that. You know? They're getting in players like Pope. You know? They're getting in players that are going to be a little bit of an upgrade on what they already have. Keep the chemistry going. Keep the harmony. Don't eclipse the team that you already have with superstars and start to make everyone else feel irrelevant. No, you keep the competition high enough for everyone to keep giving their all. But each season, you add and you add and you add until your overall quality in the squad is high. And I feel like Newcastle are going to be making improvements. They have to. And this is why I'm putting them in a Conference League spot. I think they will make European football. 7th is good. The quality above them is still quite high. And I feel like next season, we can start talking about Europa League and possibly, I stress possibly, because I think it's going to take 2 more seasons, possibly top 4. We can start really bringing that into the conversation in 2 years' time. But you can see what I'm talking about. Newcastle are not going down the avenue that clubs before them have, where it's invest, get everyone and their mother. We're talking about winning the Champions League now. No, they're taking their time and they're doing it right. So fair play to Newcastle. I've put them in 7th. West Ham I've put in 8th because I don't think they're going to pip Newcastle, but West Ham are going to be not finishing any below than that. They've had a great season last season. They got themselves to a Europa League semi-final. They were really, really good. Overall, even in the Premier League, up until the end, without a large squad, they kept the consistency, and that's a very good thing for West Ham. So I'll put in them 8th, Newcastle 7th, we get to the top 6. Some of you would probably want me to put Newcastle in 6th and put a certain team in 7th. I know. Or West Ham in 6th and put a certain team down. I'm putting Man United in 6th, right? And I know a lot of you are probably going to think, no, they won't even finish 6th. They're going to finish like 8th. I get it. I still think there's enough quality there for them to get a Europa League spot. Surely. I don't see them competing for top 4. No way. I would be shocked. I've said this on this channel before, and every time I say that now, I get PTSD. I will be shocked if we don't get Dembele, if we don't get Koundé. And here we are, without Dembele, without Koundé. But look, listen, when I say that, I honestly think, you look at the teams above them, surely Man United don't finish above any of them. Surely. The ones that you can really talk about are possibly Arsenal, Spurs. Some would put Chelsea in the conversation. I'll come to them later. But Man United right now look the least stable out of the teams I've just mentioned. There's still issues. That revolution we were waiting for at Manchester United hasn't really happened. They've let go of loads of players. I thought they were good. When the whole talk about Pogba leaving, Lingard leaving, players leaving on a free, players, the outgoings kicking in, and Ten Hag coming, we all heard that, okay, they're gonna let go of all those players because they're gonna bring in about 10 players. Ten Hag's Man United revolution. It's not really happened. They've got a couple of lads in, including Martinez, decent lad. Lisandro, by the way, not Lautaro. So, but that's it. The other players that people are looking to are more of Sancho, Rashford, Martial. Are these lads going to be included in this team now? Or are they going to be outcasts like previous managers have? We don't truly know. But Ten Hag and the focus now is all around Cristiano Ronaldo and what's happening there. Because Ronaldo, it doesn't look like he's leaving. It looks like he's just going to have to deal with staying at Man United. And that is going to cause turmoil now because this whole saga felt unnecessary. Ronaldo wanting to leave, okay, I understand. But he kind of forced it. Ten Hag has made it clear, I want to work with him. But now he knows Ronaldo truly doesn't want to be there. But no club has come forward and gone, yeah, we want Ronaldo. Everyone said no. So now Ronaldo and his agent are like, oh, crap. We have to stay at Old Trafford. Okay. But Man United fans, who normally love Ronaldo and would normally look at him as a club legend, and rightfully so he is, but it's turning sour. Because now in pre-season, they haven't used Ronaldo and they've looked like they've got a little bit of a dynamic going on with the players that I've mentioned. Sancho, Rashford, Martial even. Who is still at Man United somehow, but he could be used. There's talk about other players coming into the mix that could really get Man United going in Ten Hag's image. Would Ronaldo come in and disrupt that, is what Man United fans are asking. So now there's in the back of their own heads a club legend like Ronaldo, who was their top goal scorer last season, looking, going, well, maybe we shouldn't include him. But he's there. They're paying him 500 grand a week. Is he just going to sit around? Or Cristiano Ronaldo just going to sit around? It looks like it's turning a bit toxic. So Man United, I think the problems are still there. They haven't reinforced enough. I'm putting them in 6th. I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow went lower, but I don't think they will. I think 6th is fair enough. 2nd Europa League spot, and we move. In 5th, I'm going Arsenal. Arsenal, for me, have a team that should be breaking into the top 4 now. When you look at the way that they've performed in pre-season, they've been very impressive. But is that just typical Arsenal? Is it just a case of pre-seasons looked immense and then the season starts and they lose 1-0 to Palace? You know, they go to Brentford and they lose again. Yeah, like they did last season. Do they go to Southampton and bottle it? Yeah, it's a very Arsenal thing. But something tells me deep down that Arsenal this time are actually a little bit more serious. And I feel like the players that they've got in are exactly what they've needed. When you're looking at a Zinchenko, when you're looking at a Jesus who looks like he's found himself at Arsenal, he looks very comfortable. The style of football suits him. I feel like they've reinforced where they've needed to. The problem is Arteta. Arteta looks like he's been given time to just learn on the job. And maybe it's working. Maybe there are signs there now that maybe Arteta is starting to understand the game. Maybe, and I don't mean in terms of football. I mean as an Arsenal manager. Maybe he's got all these young lads on his side and maybe they're really playing for him and he's going to get something going out of them now. But is it enough compared to the teams above that I haven't mentioned yet? The one team you look at is Tottenham. And I've put Tottenham in 4th. I've put Tottenham in 4th because the teams that are above Tottenham, we know who they are, I think still possess too much quality for Tottenham to break themselves into, but Tottenham will still be strong enough to get into the Champions League. I think they're going to give a good fight because Antonio Conte. That's the deciding factor as to why I've put them above Arsenal though. Conte, Arteta. And Conte with investment. If Conte didn't have investment, I would be putting Arsenal in the top 4. But Conte's been backed, and I didn't think it would happen. As a Chelsea fan, and we know what it's like to back Conte and then to not back Conte, it can get sticky. Tottenham have decided to give him everything he wants. And if you give Conte everything he wants, you're going to have a good team. You're going to have a good team, at least for one season. Maybe later it will implode, but we're not talking about next season. We're talking about this season. For this season, with Harry Kane, with Son, with the players they've brought in, Antonio Conte and a pre-season and the way that he killed them in pre-season, I think they're going to be slightly above Arsenal in terms of levels. You know, ability-wise, Arsenal have ballers. But as a complete package, I think Tottenham are going to pip them. So I'm going Arsenal in 5th to get Europa League again, which isn't good enough. It's not good enough. I do think, look, now Arteta has pressure. It's top 4 or you're out. And I've been watching All or Nothing Arsenal. If you have, you know. I don't want to sound like I'm being conned or, you know, I'm buying into the Arsenal propaganda. But when I look at Arteta and I look at Arsenal, you can tell Arteta is actually trying. He cares. But just does he have the ability as a manager in him to get Arsenal to the next level? We'll find out. But I think they'll finish 5th just because the quality above them is just too much. Tottenham in 4th, as I've already mentioned. Antonio Conte to keep Tottenham at that same place. Although I think they're going to be a lot harder to beat this season. They've reinforced. They are going to be physically stronger. You can bet as much as you want on a Chelsea fan telling you Antonio Conte's team this season after a pre-season will be much sharper, much more conditioned and much more stronger. Bet your house. So Tottenham will be harder to play against. But we'll see, because the quality above them is still very, very high. So who am I putting in 3rd? This is where it gets tasty. And I have to be honest, this is where maybe I put my Chelsea Todd Bowley blue-tinted glasses on. Because I'm putting Man City in third. Now, some of you are thinking, what? You're mental. Let me explain. City have lost some guys. They've lost some players, right? We're talking Jesus. We're talking Sterling. We're talking Zinchenko. We're going to talk Bernardo Silva. I honestly believe that De Jong will leave Barca and Barca will get Silva. And Pep has already spoken about Bernardo Silva in a press conference today, or was it yesterday? But the latest press conference for the game this weekend, he spoke about Bernardo Silva and he was very honest. And maybe that gave too much of a clue as to what is going on. Because he said that he would love to keep Bernardo Silva, but he can't, stop a player that doesn't want to be there. What do you think that tells you? That tells you, of course, things are happening with Bernardo Silva to Barcelona. A deal is ready to be done, but it depends on De Jong leaving Barca. And if that were to happen, Silva leaves. And I think if Silva leaves on top of all the guys that have left as well, they haven't reinforced. Man City have got Haaland. Yes. That's it. That's basically it. When you're thinking about it. So do they have enough quality to sustain themselves? I feel like maybe this is Lukaku Chelsea PTSD, right? You know where I'm going with this. I've got a feeling Haaland's going to stagnate Man City. I've got a feeling that Haaland being involved in the way that City play is actually going to restrict them. There will be chances. He will score goals. Do not expect him to get 30 in the season. Do not expect him to get 25 in the season. I think he's going to struggle to get 20. If I'm being honest, we'll see if he gets 15. I think it's going to be similar vibes to how Lukaku didn't do well here. Similar vibes to how Timo Werner struggled here, coming from the German league. I do think he'll get goals. If I'm going to predict, maybe 12, 13, maybe. But for Man City, that's not enough. And the goals in terms of elsewhere, yes, they've got Mahrez, they've got Grealish, they've got Foden. You look in the midfield, they've got KDB. But that's basically it. Within 4 competitions, they were able to rotate so much and keep the quality high. Whereas now, I think they've actually let a lot of their quality go, which is why I'm putting them in third. I think with Haaland and trying to force everything on Haaland because he's a big mega money signing, has to prove himself, has a big expectation. He has come in with, I don't want to say an ego because he is Haaland and he's recognised, right? But he's definitely come in and people are like, whoa, Haaland, yo. He walks into the team. It's not good when that happens. So I'm going with Man City in third. And I'm going with Chelsea to break that dynamic, that City-Liverpool dynamic that's been going on. Chelsea are going to break it. And Chelsea are going into second place. They're not going to win the title. I'm not going to put us to win the league. I'm going to put us to finish second. Why? If you had asked me a week ago, I'd be telling you, no, Chelsea ain't finishing. Maybe not even third. Maybe we get fourth. But with these signings coming in now, and there will be more. Todd Bowley's feasting. You guys thought he was here for a meal. He's here for a buffet. And he's not here for just a buffet. He's here for a Michelin star buffet. He's here for, give me £1,000 and you can eat all you want, basically. Not none of those $5.99 buffets that you go in and, all you can eat. No, he's coming into those Michelin star ones where it's, here's £1,000. Give me everything you have that's of top quality. That he's doing that. Sterling, Koulibaly, Cucurella's now through the door. Chukwuemeka, we've signed some young lads, 17, 18-year-olds to try and build for the future. Goalkeeper, midfielder, left-back, Sturridge from Brighton. There's more coming through the door, it seems. It looks like we're going to be going after De Jong. It looks like we're going to be going after Aubameyang or a striker. It looks like we're going to be really getting more players into this squad that are top quality. So let's wait and see. Fofana, we're not done with him yet. If Chelsea do nail all of these players coming in, we are going to finish in a good position, 100%, because players are going to be leaving. And I feel like this squad is going to have a complete overhaul. Same sort of overhaul I expected Man United to have. If we were to just talk about the players we've already got, imagine if we actually ended up getting a De Jong, Fofana, and an Aubameyang, for example, or a Memphis Depay. I mean, Chelsea have all the tools there. Tuchel has no excuse at that point. No excuse. So, we'll see. But Chelsea to break that top 2, that's been going on for a few seasons now. I'm putting Chelsea in second because of the quality that we are bringing in. And fingers crossed that happens. For me, that would be an improvement. And hopefully we perform well in other competitions. And top, I'm going Liverpool. Liverpool, despite them letting go of Mane, I still think there's just enough quality. They haven't let go of basically everybody or many players in the same way City have. I feel like they've still got their core. They've got Younes coming in. The same expectation from Younes, although I do feel like Younes maybe fits Liverpool better than Haaland does with City. With the style of football, with the type of profile of striker that he is, he's a little bit more dynamic. He's a little bit more agile. I feel like he can be that sort of player to come a little bit deeper, to go a little wider, whereas Haaland is just central. And despite him running a lot, I still think maybe Younes is better suited to Liverpool's way of playing than Haaland is to City's. So there's expectation because of the price tag, but I still feel like with Mo Salah, Luis Diaz, all the players that are still there, Liverpool still have that core. Defensively, they've got the same guys. I think that the quality is just still there. And the Community Shield proved as to what Liverpool can do when the pressure is on. In pre-season, Liverpool didn't look fantastic. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty, you play Man City in a Charity Shield, in a game where there's a trophy on the line, and Liverpool put them to the sword. And I expect Liverpool to perform really well this season. And I think out of the two, Liverpool are going to be the ones that I think eclipse. So I'm going with Liverpool to win the league. And there we are. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your opinions. How do you see it ending? Who's winning the league? Who's getting relegated? Where's your team finishing? And I'll see all of you really soon. We'll see where we all fare by the end of the season. We'll definitely review this when it comes to the end of the season. We'll see what we got wrong, because we're not going to get a lot right, I don't think. We'll wait and see. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. And I'll see all of you for video number 3 later on today. Everton versus Chelsea match preview. I'll see you then. Have a good one, people. In a bit. Take care and peace.